Rasmus Hojlund's ceiling is so high. There's a player in Rasmus Hojlund that is very, very good at a very, very young age. There is a player with lots of key attributes you need to succeed in the sport that he seems to have it all, whether it's physically, technically, whether it's the IQ, the work rate, the attitude. Rasmus Hojlund could become a top class player. He's already showing, look, this is a good player here that United have. And it's about how he learns, he grows, United develop him, but he can go right to the top. And we're going to talk about why Rasmus Hojlund is such a good player, why he's been so good for United, and why maybe he's underrated by rivals. I think he got a lot of stick, talk, sport going, Rasmus Hojlund, he's crap, he's rubbish, what a waste of money, 9 goals in the Serie A. And he had a lot of media pressure on him, but he's slowly proving people wrong. You look at statistics here. Four games, 4 goals in the Premier League. Since he's got one, he's scored in every other game. 5 goals and 2 assists in his last 6 matches. 10 goals and 2 assists in 28 matches this season. I think it was the equivalent of about 24 full 90. So that's a goal contribution every other match. In a United side up until a month ago that had the least amount of goals other than Sheffield United and the least amount of goals from attackers. So considering that everyone's numbers at United are below, he's still getting decent numbers. And age 21 years of age, Rasmus Hojlund becomes the youngest player to score in 4 consecutive Premier League games. There's other statistics as well that other than Jude Bellingham, Rasmus Hojlund is the only guy 21 or under to score more than 10 non-penalty goals this season in a United side with no service. He's also outperforming his XG. He's got an XG of about 8. He's got 10 goals. He's also created more expected assists, more chances for his teammates than his teammates have created for him, showing that he is a selfless winger. And you've got to think about it. He was going to United for ridiculous fee, the media pressure. There's good players that come to United and they crumble, the media pressure. When you're a striker and you don't score in your first few games, you get a bit stick. But when you're a striker that's cost a lot of money, you've gone to United, you get new levels of stick. People writing him off. This guy's under immense pressure. His confidence must have gone. Now he's scored 1. His confidence is rocking. And I was one of those people that said, never write this guy off. I could see his quality. And what did he do? He showed his quality versus West Ham. Casemiro wins the ball back really high up the pitch here. Hojlund takes the ball. You think, okay, he's probably going to play Garnacho in there. Nah, he takes the ball. He gets round a few players. You can see in the top corner, he literally twists round a few players, makes space for himself. And we're going to talk about this later on, why Hojlund is so good, because he's one of those strikers that can make space and opportunities for himself, which is what he's needed to do, because more than 50% of his goals he's created himself. And then Bosch, what a finish that was to go in the back of the net. Got the ball, made space for himself, turned and angled his body, used himself well to create some space, Bosch, and a finish as well. That was the first Hojlund goal. Then the second Hojlund goal that he got, his other goal versus Wolves, you can see that he just barges his way in front of defenders. He's scoring goals that he is creating for himself, where he's making space for himself, but he's also getting on the end, barging in front of defenders, hungry to score. He said he's hungry to score more goals. That's how he described himself. Versus Bayern Munich, here's another example of him taking the ball, creating space for himself. Bosch, goal versus Bayern. Goal versus Galatasaray is my favourite goal with Spurs, but he intercepts a pass back to the Galatasaray player, runs with the ball from the halfway line. He's got players catching him. To run with the ball that far, you've got so much time to think. And Bosch in the back of the net. 9 times out of 10, Rasmus Hojlund has finished his chances. He has been very, very clinical at Manchester United lately, and the Galatasaray game he was immense, the Bayern Munich game he was immense, in the Champions League he was immense. He was slow starting in the Premier League, did have a fair goal ruled out versus Brighton, to be fair to him, but lately he's been immense. You can see that he can run, he can dribble, he can create space for himself, he can link up with opponents, hold up play, and he's got that striker's poach. And he's suffering because not much is created for him. And everyone was saying, oh, Jackson's better, look how many goals Jackson's got. And I was thinking, Jackson has got the most XG created for him in the league. And now Jackson has less goals than Hojlund, who's creating chances for himself. You put Hojlund in that Chelsea squad and he'd have 20 goals, generally, in all comps. But Hojlund has more than goals. And that's why I'd been backing him when he was getting a lot of stick, a lot of hate. His work rate and pressing is immense. His teammates need to commit to the press with him so it actually works effectively. He makes runs in behind, or he makes runs where he draws defenders to create space for Garnacho or Rashford. His movement is very good, very intelligent. He's cut out passing lanes, he's intercepted, he's made runs. He likes to get more down the left-hand side. He's left-footed and do that sort of left shot, cutting across goal. His movement is clever. He knows how to draw defenders away. His link-up play is good. He's creative. He can dribble. He can follow Ten Hag's tactical instructions, but he's very unselfish. And another thing, look at the power he gets on his shots. His ball striking is brilliant. And I look at Hojlund and I think, why has he got such a high ceiling? First of all, athleticism. He's very quick, he's very strong, and he's very agile for his height. When you're 6'3", you're strong and you're rapid. Athletically, oppositions are going to struggle. Also, he can press and run such distances, but he can make those quick sprint bursts and change pace well, which makes it hard for opponents to catch him on transition, like the Galatasaray goal. Movement to create chances for himself. 50% of his goals were not assisted this season. He's creating them for himself. You see him pick up the ball in tight angles, create something for himself. His pace makes it difficult for defenders to deal with him on the transition. Ten Hag spoke about wanting to be a transition-based side. We've seen that Hojlund's pace, teams struggle against him on the transition, but we've also seen he's good at pressing and regaining the ball high, something he did well for Atalanta. We've not seen as much of it at United, but we will see that soon. You look at his dribbling, you look at his overall play, he creates chances for his teammates with 2 assists, but could have had 5 or 6 this season. He's in the top 25% of strikers last season for shot creating actions. Last season he was also the top 7% of strikers for carries into the box, which shows his dribbling is very good. Despite his 6'3" frame, he likes to take on defenders 1v1, and I believe he has like a 46% success rate, which is really, really good for a striker. He can dribble the ball, he can progress the ball forward, but he also can create. He's not just someone that scores goals. Everyone talks about Gabriel Jesus, how he's such a good striker, but he doesn't have the finishing. Hojlund, I'm not comparing him to Gabriel Jesus, but you can see he's got the finishing, but he adds a lot like Gabriel Jesus does. And United play better when they've got Hojlund because they've got a focal point, and also that means that Rashford can stay on the left, Garnacho can stay on the right, and we can have our best front three. Not only does Hojlund provide a focal point, but his movement can draw out defenders and leave gaps and spaces for wingers. Him providing a focal point is someone for them to cross to, not that they really do that yet. You've seen though, he makes these runs and the centre backs track him, and all of a sudden McTominay will make these box crossing runs that no one's tracking because they're focusing on Hojlund and getting in spaces where Hojlund would be, but the defenders have marked Hojlund up and scoring a lot of goals as well because of Hojlund's movement. And at Atalanta, he was known for making space for his teammates, but he was also known for creating space for himself to shoot into, which we saw with the goal that he scored versus West Ham. I think the first goal that he got versus Bayern as well, he got an offside goal versus Galatasaray, which was very, very good as well. He's very good at touching the ball control, creating spaces for himself, and he's comfortable in the ball in those tight, high-pressure spaces, and he uses his body well. And I think as his back injury eases, he's only going to get better and better and more comfortable, and he's going to be more mobile because of that. Then you look at his finishing, crazy powers he gets on the shots, his ball striking. He's clinical when he gets the chance. His ball striking is good. I think there's only 1 or 2 chances he's missed one that he should have scored that, but his finishing from distance, short range, the power is good. 9 goals from 8 XG in Serie A last season, 10 goals from 8 XG this season. Good strikers, gets instant goals, gets goals with good finishes, and gets goals with runs, scoring a variety of goals. And that's why I think Rasmus Hojlund is a top player. And I could go on, and of course he's only 21. We can't put pressure on him. Players might flop. We probably thought this about Martial at the time. It depends on injuries. It of course depends on the stability of Manchester United. Do we develop him? Because we've not done well with our young players in the past, or we've sort of worn them out. It's a number of factors, but Hojlund, as I can see as a striker, has all those traits to become a top player. I think he will be a top player. I think he's got the mentality, the work rate, the attitude to be a top player. And hopefully with the Ineos project coming in, we'll be run properly. We'll be able to develop him properly, build a team around where he's going to thrive and have chances to create for him and more. But I look at Hojlund and I think, yeah, this guy, he's better than Nicholas Jackson, let's be honest. He's better than Nicholas Jackson. He's better than a lot of strikers, and he got so much stick. Him and Richarlison right now, 2 form strikers in the league, 2 strikers coming out at the right moment. And it might have taken a little bit of time for him to get going, but I think he's only just started at United. Smash a like, smash a subscribe. Thank you for watching.